What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
Happy podcast day. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy going into the weekend day.
Yep. And happy Brotherly Love Pod.
Yes.
We've got a
absolutely.
very special episode.
We have a very special episode. You know how like an old TV, they would say like, on a very special Blossom.
Oh, yeah.
On a very special Boy Meets World.
I think it was on a very special
Brotherly Love.
You're missing it. It was actually on a very special episode of.
Who's done more TV?
And your
You
guests,
or me?
the guests today are the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, apparently. Wait a
Yeah,
minute. Hold on. First of
Hold on,
all,
you just jumped
first
over
of
this
all,
whole scenario
If you're
here.
watching on our YouTube channel, which I hope you are, then you can see there are two gentlemen in our studio that are wearing Persol, amazing sunglasses by the way, but the exact same pair, not planned, of sunglasses. If you're listening, then I'm explaining it to you. And one of them is, our little brother, Andy, who does he's always the one in some shades, and some bandana or some shredded shirt or something.
True.
He's like literally Teen Wolf when he's become a wolf for the first time and all of his clothes shred. That's what Andy is. Anyway, the other one.
I just have a lot of moths in my closet.
Yeah, the other one is our sperm donor. And we have a very special guest today, and it is our father. Our dad.
Your father.
Your
Let's
father.
welcome Dad.
Dad. Joseph Mignona, everybody.
Joseph Mignona.
Yeah, you take them off.
Joseph Mignona the second,
You take 'em off.
actually.
Right,
the
after-
second after our grandpa. I am the third, actually. But, after... and people always ask me, it's so funny, and I want to get into this for a minute. Dad, first of all, welcome. What's up,
thanks,
Dad?
Dad. Thanks for coming by.
How are you, Dad? It's good to see you.
Joe, before you get in there, I just want to say that...
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead and say
the
it.
reason why this is kind of special for us is because we have two parents,
Yes,
obviously,
yes.
and we're blessed to both have our parents with us.
Yes.
But this is very odd because as our mother was very involved as a manager and all this stuff.
Out
in front, yes, of the...
Everybody knows
everybody
Mom.
knows
we would
Mom.
walk down the street and people would come out of boutique stores and be like,
Yeah,
oh,
like-
I know your mother.
Yeah. Anyway, but our dad
Yeah.
is a whole different story.
Right.
My
right.
dad
Very
never
mysterious.
he never really, all the conversations I've had with
Sunglasses
him.
go back on.
Oh,
He's
gosh.
just put his shades back
Oh,
on.
gosh.
He's a very
God.
mysterious man.
He's never really appreciated the attention.
No.
He has always had a little bit of a side eye towards the entertainment industry.
Right.
All these things, he wanted to remain in the
Skeptical.
back, skeptical, all these type of things. So the fact that we got him on this pod today
Is really cool.
Is really cool because this is going to give you guys, the listeners, a little insight to us that literally has never
Never.
been seen before.
Never
we
been
do
seen
not
before.
do things with our dad.
We do a lot of things with our dad. We do a lot of things with our dad. We do not know our father. We have never seen
It's pretty
him.
crazy. This is the first time we're meeting our father live on the pod.
At least I think for Andy anyway. I've met him once or twice.
God. Oh, God. Oh,
But,
God.
no, this is the first time in front of the camera, I think, really ever. We've never done this.
Never
with
done
Dad.
this. But as I was saying, so our grandfather, Grandpa Joe, was Joseph Mignona, and then my dad is a junior,
Yep.
and I am actually the third. And the reason why I go by Joey Lawrence, well, first of all, we
Right.
changed that in the early 80s because...
I got to tell this story real quick.
Sure, okay, it was my name, but you tell it. Yeah,
I'm
it's all
going to
good.
tell this story because this
Yeah,
is
it's
this
so
is a
weird. I
really
mean,
interesting.
It is really interesting.
Our dad's Italian.
Yeah.
We are very proud of our Italian heritage.
Yeah, we are.
And when we were
So we
coming up-
changed our last name.
No, exactly. No, exactly. So wait, let me finish. So
I had
when
nothing to do with this.
When we entered
this is a choice made long before I had any input.
I'll tell you what happened. When we entered the entertainment
Yes.
industry, the agency
In New
was it
York.
William Morris.
No,
No.
it was
What are you, crazy?
It was way before that. It was
Oh.
when I was a little kid in New York, and we went in for the first agency back in 1981, even
Okay.
before Carson.
Okay.
And it was, what is this last name?
It's not. It's too ethnic. It's too ethnic.
It's spelled, by the way, for everybody, and I'm sure you know this because they've Googled it. It's spelled like filet mignon. So there's silent G's, which is Mignona, right? Some agent in New York looked at this. I won a picture contest. Went to an agency in New York. They looked at my last name and they're like, "This is not going to work.
This is too ethnic.
No one's going to hire a kid with this goofy last name.
Yep.
We can't even pronounce it. What's his middle name?" And it was Lawrence because I'm Joseph Lawrence Mignona III. And they're like,
Yep.
"That's the name we go
Yeah.
with," you know?
So they chopped off our Italian heritage.
Right.
And we got branded as Lawrence.
Right. And then after
we didn't want to be like Puffy and change it 5 times.
right. So we just
stuck
kept
with
it that way. Exactly right. And then what happened is after 9/11,
Yeah.
you couldn't fly anywhere. The problem is our passports would say Mignona, the credit cards would say Lawrence,
yeah.
and for security reasons, it was a nightmare flying. So we just changed it to Lawrence because it was nice to have everything sort of sync up. So when we traveled, it wasn't a nightmare. That's
Also,
it.
also to get away from the mob ties.
Yes, the mob ties, all the Italian stuff. Okay,
Anyway.
that was my mouth trumpet, by the way. I'm very proud of that.
Extremely
Worked on
flat.
it. No, it's a mouth trumpet. I wasn't warmed up.
It was
Okay,
flat. Still flat.
screw you, Andy.
That's sharp.
No. That's not even a good mouth
I don't
trumpet.
even know what that is. That's better. We're going to do this for 45 minutes.
Yeah, we are.
Just that.
Yeah, get ready.
Anyway, so Dad, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome,
How
man.
are you, Dad?
Thank you. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've worked in insurance for your whole life, right? I mean, annuities and plans and
Yeah.
like all that
I
stuff.
actually have a few questions for you about
The
this.
brief
do.
stint
Really?
that you were a hitman.
It's so crazy because like our love of music and everything like that. Our parents
time.
sang together. They were both in bands.
you guys
right,
really?
Dad? Were you guys in
No,
bands
actually, your mother and I sang at weddings for a little while.
together? Right?
You're kidding
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
No.
What do
What?
mean you're
You
kidding
didn't
me?
know that?
What an idiot! I
Wait a
knew
minute.
that.
Yeah.
You and
the
Mom
youngest-
sang at weddings?
Just a couple, 2 or 3 weddings.
Yeah.
You were like a wedding act?
Yeah.
No,
I got
no,
you,
it was
babe.
just for relatives and who knew we were singing and said, "Hey, we just come and sing at our wedding." So we sang a
Yeah,
couple songs.
but you were in a band.
Well, that was before that.
Yeah, but you were in a band before, right?
Yeah, in college. And
Sang a lot of blood,
through
sweat, and
college.
tears and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, sure.
My dad you had the most, or we still do, but at one point had literally the most spectacular head voice I've ever heard.
When
mean,
I
he
tell
could-
you that
there wasn't
my-
anything he couldn't sing.
My dad, when he was, I mean, when my dad, and everyone's got a prime of their voice, just the way it is. I don't even have the prime
Just
that
like
I
any
used to
other
have.
muscle?
That's it. You usually are in it in your 30s, but my dad's voice in his prime blew mine out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
In fact, I would
marvel that he could go up.
and then I would listen to Stevie Wonder and all these people who were singing a head voice that Dad would turn on to me and say, "You see how he's singing that way? See how he's placing it at the top of his roof? It almost looks like he's coming out of his nose, but he's not. It's not falsetto.
No, it's
Don't
head
go
voice.
up into the falsetto."
Head voice.
And I would practice it, and then one day, I don't know if you remember, I was like, "Dad, I think I got it."
I remember that.
Do you remember that? And I came
do,
in and I
yes.
hit the notes, and
Yes,
you were
you
like,
did.
"That's
Yeah.
it."
It
Yeah.
kicks in. It's mysterious how it kicked in. For me, it was probably in my late 20s is when I discovered it. And I went through all college in the band singing all these high notes, full voice.
Oh, my
And it was
God.
brutal. And then after that was over, I somehow one day was singing and the same thing. The middle voice, just head voice just popped in, and
Yeah.
it just opened up a whole world of vocalization that I didn't have before.
And by the way, my dad could literally sing anything that came on the radio, and this is when amazing.
And Motown, that was
Oh,
like,
well, this is when amazing
that was the
music
crux of it.
was still being, in my opinion, still being put out, and it was on the local radio in the top 40. And you still had bands like Hall & Oates who were writing great songs, and Michael McDonald, and Steve Winwood. And I remember being in the car. Remember that "Roll with it, baby"? No, we're gonna roll with it, baby. My dad. In the range, and by the way, Steve Winwood sings high, dude.
yeah.
He went up to that, got it. You and I could barely do that as
I know,
kids.
I know.
Dad was just soaring in that voice. I was crazy, crazy, dude. I remember him singing, "You've lost that love and feeling."
Oh, yeah.
He'd sing that. I also remember that even records that I was loving, because one of my favorite songs ever when I was a kid, and my parents took me out of the business, which was great when Andy was born, in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Best 3 years of my life in terms of that decision, because I went back to, remember Dad, Abington Friends? I was in middle school, fully submerged, no work.
Yep.
I was able to play sports, go to school dances, do all these amazing things.
Field trips and
Field
everything,
trips.
yeah.
Remember that? We went on the Colt, it was the survival camp trip. Oh my God, Dad. You remember that, to the Chesapeake Bay?
I
Yes,
still remember
that
the
was
stories. There was a
3
spider
and a
in
half
the tent.
days of hell.
There was a spider in the tent,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
A giant spider in the tent.
Oh, God.
I remember I hear the story. Tell
Do you
the
remember
story.
that natural swamp thing that I had to walk through, Dad?
I was a natural son. We all had to. I had to too.
I know. That was, Dad, that was the worst.
It was pretty.
What the hell was
crazy.
that, Dad?
I don't know. It was some kind of a swamp. It was up to here.
Yes.
What?
Up chest level, guys. Chest
You
level.
remember all the bubbles? Because it was natural
Methane
gas.
gas.
It was
methane gas.
It felt
right,
like bugs were
exactly, yeah.
crawling up into your junk, dude. It was the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is a
we
field
had
trip?
we got
Yeah.
remember the crabs
Survival.
that we caught? The crabs, they gave us one match.
Wait, you guys got crabs? What the hell were you
Yeah, we got
doing?
crabs. No, that was back when Dad was in the band. He got crabs. They gave us these crabs. We were right on the Chesapeake. It was cold, freezing. We had remember that shower, outdoor shower.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
it was literally outdoor, and there was no curtains, nothing. It was
What?
Just a shower head came up from a pipe in the ground. And
Yes.
Came up over, and you just stood under it and.
And do you remember the
Yeah.
dumping zone? It was these weird circular
The
wooden
dumping
holes.
zone?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
in the ground,
You had
yeah.
to take your own toilet paper. We had to bring it with us, and if you had to go to the bathroom, you just squatted, dropped, and then
Yeah.
wiped and left. It was a hole in the ground, big holes.
And you know what's funny? I have the same feeling now that I had 38 years ago when this happened. And
Yeah.
that is, I remember thinking, having the same thought, thinking, well, that sounds like fun.
That sounds
I
pretty
don't
cool.
know why you guys are complaining.
It was
so
terrible. One night, we were all in a bunk, like in these weird tents. It was freezing. There was a massive
yeah.
spider.
I remember this.
So
you
I wake up.
You told me.
I wake up, and Dad was not in there. And I was like, where the hell is Dad?
Oh, the spider ate me.
No, he was sleeping in the van.
It was that.
He was in the van.
Dad bailed?
No way.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I found him the next day. He's in the minivan with the wood in the front seat. Totally asleep.
Amazing.
Oh, it was great. It was amazing. Whatever food they served us, it was
Oh, these
horrific.
memories are coming back to haunt me. Let me
Whatever
tell you.
food they served us was horrific. But you remember, every day, if there was anything left over, they'd put the food on a plate and they'd weigh it. And whatever that food weighed, the whole camp got that much less the next morning. Wow. Until we cleared our plates.
So they were trying to teach you kill what you eat what
Right.
you kill. So
We got one match. If we didn't start the fire, we didn't.
They put us on a beach one night.
Yeah. Yes.
One match.
that sounds so. See, I put
One
myself
match.
in these situations.
And some
which is so
people's
funny.
match blew out.
They didn't eat.
And they were running down to another fireplace. Say, can you light this wood for me? I got to eat, And eventually everybody got their
Yeah.
fires lit. But there was
We ate crabs. Literally, those crabs that we
Yeah,
had in the
Sounds cool,
traps
man.
in the Chesapeake.
Sounds so cool.
It was wild, dude.
sounds
It was
a little-
wild.
little-
they haven't done that. I mean,
No.
after
those kids died,
No.
it just,
they decided
Yeah.
to postpone.
No, they
kids.
really. I've noticed
you
that.
didn't get that, right?
No.
you didn't
No,
get that.
but
right? Wherever you
I
were.
had.
I went to Six Flags. That was my survival
Oh,
trip.
great! Wow, what a survival
I
trip.
actually had something
I
similar.
had a bodyguard
like
on the bus.
I had
driving
something
with us.
similar like
You
that.
came back from one
Catalina.
sick. From sick. You came back
Yeah,
sick.
yeah. So in Catalina, the same thing. It was very cold.
Yeah, it was cold where
and
we were,
the
too.
Pacific Ocean at that time was 49 degrees, and we had all these canoeing activities, and they had to test your nervous system. They would never do this to kids these days.
No, they
unless they were trainings. They still do this for kids that are trained, and for
Right.
people that going to be around cold water.
Right.
You have to jump in because some people freeze under the shock and sink. And they can't have one of the kids if they fall out of their thing because you can't get to them fast enough. Literally, 1 out of 10 kids will get something, they seize up and will breathe in water and go under, and you can't find them because it's the ocean, right? It's freezing. So they all down to our
You had to
underwear.
plunge?
And they kicked you in off the dock.
my
They
God.
would never do this these days.
No.
One of the most shocked to hit that 49-degree Pacific Ocean.
Oh my God.
It was the most shocking. So yeah, I think, but we were the last generation. They're not doing that to kids these days. They're just not doing it anymore.
Nah.
No way.
No. It's like a trip to Washington to check out the monuments, and that's cool.
Good
It's
stuff.
great too.
Good stuff.
Great too.
Good stuff.
But that survival camp stuff was nothing.
Yeah, they're not doing that
I have memories of every morning we would put in Rude Boys, which by the way I highly recommend this song, "Written All Over Your Face" by the Rude Boys, and we written all over your
Oh, that's another good one.
face.
Yep.
Now, boy, you don't have to say a word. You don't have to say a word. That song, we put in the cassette single every morning in 6th and 7th grade, and we drove to school. My dad would drive me, and you were with us, but it was awesome, dude. We jammed to that. You remember that, Dan?
Yeah.
So those are the moments. That people always ask about. We do music, and why didn't we start doing? Well, that's the way that it really all started.
Oh,
was
yeah.
in the car, listening to music.
You two guys are excluding your younger brother here.
We wasn't
because
around.
He wasn't born yet, dude. This little shit
Well,
wasn't born.
But there's things we can talk about with him too.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to
he
it.
talks all the time.
Hey,
I
all
guess
the time.
the 40-degree plunge and crabs. Beat.
Yeah, no, another thing,
I miss this.
Matchbox cars.
It's okay.
Dad and I would play Matchbox cars. You'll have your turn. We'll get to Andy last because he's the youngest.
Save the
my
best.
favorite line. Remember Brotherly
Last.
Love, the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a line on there. It was, no, you won't. I'll never forget that.
Wow.
It was so
Brilliant.
real.
Yeah.
You said something. You were going to come back.
Oh
You were
yeah.
leaving, and you
in
were
the
gonna come
pilot.
back.
In the pilot.
And he
That's
said,
right.
No. And the way he
won't.
said it, I was
Oh
like,
my God,
I
he was
started
so good.
crying.
I
you
know.
It's true. It's
And I
touching.
know him.
I know. Now that was a great experience.
Yeah.
That was the first time we were all on set together, Brotherly Love.
It's true.
Our parents were executive producing the show.
That's right.
Pretty sweet.
It was really cool, man. And they
Yeah.
took that show for granted because TV was so arrogant back then,
Yeah.
and they hadn't gotten their taste of
Streaming.
sort of yeah. So
Well, first cable,
yep.
and then streaming.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I
mean,
remember when we were in New York City for a new season.
up fronts.
Up fronts,
Yeah.
and the president of the network at the time.
Yep.
Am I allowed to say his name?
Yeah, I think so. What's his name?
Brandon Tartikoff.
Oh, yeah.
Great man, great
Yep.
guy. He made an announcement to all the affiliates. They were out in the audience, and he said, "Look, the question was, what's going on with cable TV?"
Right.
And he said, "Look, cable TV is about 10, maybe a little over 10% of the overall viewing. It's never going to go past that."
Wow. Look at that, huh?
And everybody went with everybody went with that.
Yeah, because he was like,
and got caught off guard when it just kept growing and growing and growing.
well, because Brendan at that time was kind of like the Les Mundez was before he left CBS.
Yeah.
He was like, because Les in TV, I mean, he was like the guy. Even though there were other network executives, they all kind of looked up to this guy because he was running the most.
No,
powerful-
Brandon Tartikoff
Yeah.
was a visionary in early television in the 80s when it exploded. He was responsible for NBC. You remember some of the shows like Must See TV?
Yeah.
So it was the
That's
Cosby Show.
Thursday nights.
Thursday
Yeah.
night Seinfeld.
Yeah.
He greenlit,
many.
Family Ties.
Yeah.
I mean, Cheers. That's all Brandon Tartikoff. I mean, and it was amazing. He did Give Me a Break.
right.
It was, it was
Wow.
really tremendous stuff. So he was, it was amazing. But we got a lot of memories. Andy, you want to talk about some of your memories? Because Dad's
I was
still
just-
feeling bad for you.
I was just going to say that. I was just
costumes. One word.
Costumes. Yeah, I liked costumes.
Okay,
Oh my
great.
gosh,
Wow.
did you ever?
And what else about that, Andy?
I was still on the ratings with cable. Like cable TV took over because of the rating. They were able to include more risque stuff and push the limits for entertainment. And nobody knew that was going to be what caught on.
I know.
Like nobody expected that. They expected the family entertainment and the down the middle.
I still think
rating
people crave
system to. I do too, but
Yep.
to always outweigh, the cable shows. But it flip flopped massively. And then now with streaming, it's even flip
Well,
flopped.
streaming
more.
really did it.
Again.
Really.
You can really push the limits
really
that
did
you've never been before. Costumes, love costumes. Still wear them.
Oh, yeah, I know he does.
No, I don't.
What are you
His
talking
favorite.
about?
I think your favorite might have been.
Look
was
at
it
what
the
he's
Joker?
wearing right now.
Was it the Joker?
Love
Oh
the
God!
Joker.
You remember
Remember
that?
the
Oh
Joker
God,
with
the
the
Joker!
lights?
Oh God!
That was the Riddler.
Oh my God!
The Riddler.
But hold on, the reason
Riddler.
that costume was so sick
With
is
the question
because
marks on
the
it.
wardrobe department of Brotherly Love actually Batman Forever with Jim
Yes.
Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones and Val Kilmer's Batman and Cole Kidman came out, and I was obsessed with Jim Carrey's Riddler jacket, which lit up. And Mom and Dad actually had the costume department of Brotherly Love make me
Build him.
the jacket from
And
the
this was
movie,
back in the
but to
day.
my size.
Yeah.
and it was
Had all the LEDs. This was way before LEDs were
it was
even
spectacular.
around. Like
I had to wear a huge battery belt
Yeah,
pack because
that's
there was
right.
no way to light up.
Yeah,
But it
I
was
remember,
it was
worked.
stunning.
Yeah.
I won that Halloween party, whatever
At the
thing
school, right? Yeah.
for sure he did.
Oh my God!
This is by an Emmy award-winning costume.
Exactly.
But, I mean,
Pretty much, yeah. It
You
was
crushed it, dude. That outfit was.
Kids are coming in from like
Right,
little $9.99
Yeah,
costume.
I know.
Power Ranger costume
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like,
Or
check
like
this out.
wrapped in toilet paper as a mummy.
Yeah.
And
Or
Andy
like-
shows up. It's
Or
the
like that
freaking Riddler.
paper plate with horrible Spider-Man graphics that you just with one little string,
yeah,
like here it is,
yeah.
I'm Spider-Man, and he comes in, riddle me
With a
this.
popsicle stick with the mask and the eyes cut out.
Yeah, riddle me this.
But you know what's funny is that was my backup costume because I was going to be the mask, and
right,
we had
that's
we had
right.
a special effects company come to set and actually
Build you the mask.
build me the mask, but they messed up. And I don't know if you've ever, the way they used to do head molds. I don't know if they still do the same way.
It's kind of similar. It's not that much
literally put straws up your nose.
Yep.
And basically say, sit there for 35 minutes while we put a latex bowl over your head.
the same thing.
You can't breathe. You can't see. You have to sit there and just stay there. And something happened, and I was young, and I couldn't breathe.
I
and so
remember
they had
this.
to peel.
Do you remember it was
the mask
in
off
that
Yeah,
carport
yeah.
of the house?
Yes.
You were like freaking like you were not.
I
cool.
couldn't. I just couldn't do it.
couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
The idea of sitting there like with my eyes
At your
closed
age.
at 6 years old, I couldn't do it for more than 5-10 minutes, and
Yeah.
I freaked out and had a panic attack. Felt like I was drowning.
The
So as a result, I got Riddler costume, which
Yeah,
was better.
the difference now with it is that they still do that with the nose, but instead of having to put the whole thing on it and pour the like really, really liquid in, and the whole liquid has to harden, they actually put it on with spoons. Like put it on.
Yeah,
your
yeah,
face
I've
with
seen that. Yeah,
spoons,
we just did
and
that.
it dries in like 10
yeah,
minutes.
we just did. You're
and
right.
They,
Yeah,
and they put that down
much
and fill
easier.
that and make
No,
the
this was a
bust.
cast you had to wear. and
Right.
you had to-
Yeah,
it was like it
brutal.
was.
It's
sucked.
different now.
It
It's a
was
little
not
bit
fun.
more advanced now.
Yeah.
But anyway, a lot of our love of music. We had a lot of music in our house.
Oh, yeah, always.
Right, Dad? I mean, you were
Always.
blasting the Isley Brothers, right? I mean, you were blasting.
Yeah, I got it from my father.
The Doobie Brothers.
And, just
Yeah.
kind of passed on.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember you used to tell me, I don't remember this, but that you and Mom used to tell me that like I had a very traumatic birth, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But walking
Tell
me
that
to
story.
walking me to sleep, you walk me to sleep to music. I would go to sleep. You'd put music on, right,
Yes.
every night.
Tell that story of his birth, because I really don't even.
Okay, well, I'm sure your mother will tell it better.
Ah, there you go.
Since she
There you
was
go.
the one, but I can take it from a certain point after.
I like
Okay.
that. I like
I
that.
like it.
Fair enough.
She'll take the
actual
the
birthing
prequel.
part. Yeah.
I'll do,
I didn't come out of your loins.
No,
I get it.
absolutely not.
I get
No,
it. Okay.
But anyway, you were stuck,
Right.
and this doctor had a big ego.
Yeah.
Really?
He was very attractive looking, and all the nurses loved him. And he had, he was a good guy. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to, he was a good man, but he had a big ego, inflated,
Okay.
and he wouldn't give up.
Wow.
So finally, after trying, he said, "Get the forceps." So they got forceps, which is these metal things that have
Yeah.
pads on them. It's like a salad bowl thing,
Crazy.
Only it's large,
Like a
and
giant clamp?
and like a giant clamp. It had handles like a salad,
Right. Yeah.
thing. And when your head was just kind of showing a little bit, I was
Crowning
there.
or whatever they
crowning, as you want to call it. And they put him where they could, and he got it, and he just started pulling him. And
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
and pull him, and eventually got him
insane.
out. But his eye was just ripped, terribly here.
Yeah. I still have the scars from it. You can't really see it too much now, but
because you grew
there,
around them, your face got They were, and we had to keep him for at least 2 months, maybe more. Your mom will probably know the exact dates on that, but he had to sleep between us, and we each had to hold one of his arms.
So he didn't touch?
Because he couldn't, because they didn't want to stitch it because it was so close to the eyeball.
yeah.
They just were afraid that he would be deformed for life if they tried to stitch it.
Of course, it would change the shape of his eye.
Yes, so they had to leave it.
So that's what's wrong with him, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I still, I mean, it's there to this
What did they
day.
nickname him in the ICU?
Rocky Joe.
Rocky Joe.
Rocky or
Yeah.
Rocky Joe.
Yeah. That's
After
crazy.
the movie.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Movie Rocky.
The movie had just come out
I know,
when I
can
was
you
born.
imagine?
That's how old I am. Oh, God. I hate you
God.
guys. Oh, God. Yeah, God. So old. But anyway.
you won't get any sympathy from me.
Yeah, but music was you found to settle me. And
So anyway, he had a really rough time sleeping because right from the beginning you weren't.
A lot of
sleeping,
traumatic
a lot of trauma.
experience, yeah.
So I would dance you to sleep. We lived in a house where we had very little furniture at the time because
Yeah.
we couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And so we had the whole living room with no furniture.
Cool.
So I just do play the music, lots of Isley Brothers, things like that.
it's crazy, man.
And we just dance them to sleep every night.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would take 30, 40 minutes. Sometimes it would take an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes,
Wow.
sometimes 2 hours. But eventually you'd fall asleep. And we just lay you in the bed real carefully, and then
Hold
mother
your
would grab
arms.
one arm, and I'd grab the other arm, and
Oh, my
go to sleep.
gosh.
The three of us, holding
Wow.
your arms.
That's so
When you-
crazy.
Then I had a similar story with him, with the dog in Vancouver.
Andy.
You guys got some
Andy.
bad luck.
That bull mastiff.
Oh,
That did
my
him?
goodness
gosh.
gracious. What a story.
Talk about the forceps. This thing was a mouthful of teeth.
Oh, my gosh.
And,
that was unreal.
That was on Brothers of the Frontier.
That's right.
That was that movie we did together.
The crazy thing is 2 days. I got attacked by a bull mastiff. Let's start
Yeah,
there.
Andy is talking, by the way.
before I got attacked by the bull mastiff, 2 days before, I got bit by another dog in the face.
That's
and
right.
And the bull mastiff was kind of my fault, but the first dog was not. There was a set dog, and the director wanted the dog to lick me because I come out of a glacier lake or whatever, and the dog runs up to the kid on the anyway. And the director was really forceful with this little dog.
Kept shoving the dog's
and He
face.
kept shoving the dog's face in my face. He was like, "No, lick it, lick it." And he tried to put peanut butter on my cheek. He was like, "Lick it, lick it." And the dog went to bite his hand, and the director moved his hand, and the dog just nicked my cheek.
But it was a tiny little
It was
nick.
a tiny little nick,
Yeah.
and I remember it was a big ordeal, and everyone was freaking out, but I was fine, just a little bruising. And then 2 days later, we went to the stunt coordinator's ranch.
Oh, my God.
Now let me hold on, pause you there because this is where my guilt comes in. The reason why we were at the ranch is
Making
because
this story about you now? What the
no,
heck's going on?
just explaining my guilt.
Let me explain my guilt.
He finally gets
Yeah,
his little
your
guilt. Just sweeps
Yeah.
it away.
Let me explain why I've been wearing this for years.
I have been
Oh,
wearing
my
this for a long time
God. Oh,
because
my
I
God.
insisted we go. In fact, I begged everybody to go because this stunt coordinator was also a major animal trainer, and he had a brown Kodiak grizzly bear that I could meet.
He
a
used
polar
that was the bear in that movie, The Bear.
Yeah, I think that was Bart. I think that was another bear.
Oh, this wasn't Bart?
This was not
But
Bart.
if you
Okay.
So anyway,
the
wait.
polar bear video,
A polar bear.
yeah.
He had a polar bear that I got to play with. I mean, everything. Wolves. He had cougars.
we
How
played-
low were you at this time? How old?
I was
He was
6.
95.
You're about
15.
You're 15.
15. Okay,
15.
go
So it
ahead.
was like a dream thing for me. I'm getting to literally hang out with a 10-foot tall
The crazy
Kodiak
is,
bear.
We were all playing with like bears and polar
Bears
bears,
and wolves.
and the dog.
The
is what
dog
bit
decided-
me.
yeah.
but it's well, it's not the dog's
I
fault.
have to preface this a little bit. The owner said, "Don't worry, he's as friendly as."
Oh, that's
Which
Yeah.
which was
Friendly,
which was
friendly,
true,
friendly.
but he forgot to add. He didn't say this, but he should have said, "Don't step in the house."
Yep.
Without an owner present.
Yep.
Because no matter how much that dog likes
a
you,
guard dog.
It was a guard dog,
Yep.
and it was trained to attack anybody that goes in the house without the owner. Now I literally was like, "Let me go say goodbye to the dog that I was playing with all day."
Yeah, I know, you were playing with
because
that dog all day.
We were rolling around, licking me.
I
loving me.
remember you played with the dog. I was
And
with the animals, and
I
I would look over and you were rolling around with the
I
dog.
literally went up to the front porch. I opened the front
boy.
door and I took one step in and leaned down, and the
Say
dog
goodbye,
and the dog just took me out. I
And
mean,
this is
ravaged
story
my
that
face.
that eye was just like
It was hanging out. Yeah.
Their eyelid was laying.
Yep.
down
Oh
on
my
the
gosh.
I remember-
Oh my
chin.
gosh.
It was-
His significant other, the woman that was there, put me in the back of her car with mom and started to drive. And I remember
we followed in another car.
I remember saying
his truck or
she
whatever.
said to mom, I mean, he's probably not going to work. His career's probably over.
he's never going to work as an
never
actor.
going to work as an
again.
actor again. Then we got pulled over by a cop, and the cop put me in the cop car.
Well, because the cop took one. He was pissed, and he took one
Yeah,
look at
there
you
were
and
towels.
was like,
there was a bath towel.
I'm going to get this kid to the emergency
I remember
room.
there was a full bath towel that was white when they started, and about 15 minutes into the ride, I remember looking down and the towel was actually dripping my
like a
blood.
shower
Yeah,
towel.
so it was red.
completely
So
saturated.
the cop car took one look at me and went, "Oh my God, we got to put him in. We got to put him in the patrol car."
Do you remember
So
the-
then we took off and went to a local hospital. In which case, the doctor there examined me and told me I was going to have to lose my eye. This is true.
and
I know.
They turned us away.
And they
And they
turned us away.
away.
They didn't want. They said we can't. This
Because it was
too far
it was going to
gone.
be they would have
Too
to take
far
my
gone.
eye, and they didn't want to have to deal with any of the lawsuit repercussions of
Yep.
losing my eye. So we got in an
Then
ambulance.
we had to go all the way down to Vancouver.
Vancouver in the main British Columbia hospital.
British Columbia,
in which
yeah.
case they put me on a stretcher.
gosh.
We rushed through the door. This is the craziest part. We hit an older man. I remember this.
Yep.
Well,
Who-
he was a
Well,
he was
it's-
from
Tell Dad.
England.
Yeah.
It's going to get there.
He
a
was a
renowned
guest speaker. Renowned.
We hit a man on his way to a speech,
Okay,
and the man that we hit was a renowned pediatric plastic surgeon who was
Talk
giving
about-
a world tour lecture
Yep.
and happened to be at this hospital and recognized my brothers and saw my mom and dad and the chaos that was going on and took one look at me, and I swear they wheeled me into like a closet. It wasn't an operating room; it was a closet.
room.
He took out a sewing kit that he kept in
This
his
big,
pocket.
That big.
It looked like a
Just
little
took the zipper
pocket
out,
Bible or something.
Opened it up, and there were just different
Yep.
little instruments.
And he sewed me up in a closet by hand. And he said, "Hold my lecture for 30 minutes," and literally sewed me up by hand. And
Do you remember what he said though? He said, "Because I'm the only guy on the planet that can save this kid's eye."
maybe he said that. Yeah, I don't remember
That's
that.
exactly what.
But
he
I know
said.
that I got stitched without any Novocaine or anything, and I remember feeling like the tugging, and I remember all this pretty
Dude,
vividly.
he went inside your eye. I don't even realize he went
Yeah.
inside and put the muscles back
Yeah.
together in your eye. This
Yeah.
guy was a genius.
He was.
A maestro.
He was
of surgical
He was.
sewing
And-
on children.
And the only thing he said that might happen would my eye would drip, and it didn't even do that. The tear duct completely
saved
repaired
everything.
itself.
It's a miracle that this doctor, world-renowned doctor, one of a kind,
Yeah.
from England, had
I mean,
happened to be in
crazy.
Vancouver at the very time we rushed him into the hospital, and he happened to be walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
The time we're rushing him in on a
I lucked out for
blessed.
sure.
stretcher.
Yeah, it
And
was
your
a blessing.
scars healed up, and you're a beautiful guy, and my scars healed up, and I'm a
Thanks.
mere shadow of my former self, but you can't see the scars, which is good. So,
So,
too
Can't
much.
see the line, can you? Russ?
Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Christmas-
What movie's that from?
Christmas vacation.
That's right. That's right.
But what about you? What did you know?
Yeah, Matt kind of got away
I think so. You know,
unscathed, right?
Come on, guys. And knock on wood. I did break my pinky.
Nice.
Oh,
I broke
God.
my thumb.
I
too.
remember one time Matt was chasing me around because I did something I wasn't supposed to, and he was angry at me. And then we used to live with a house with a really long driveway on an incline. And there was a big potted plant. It was a palm tree, so a big clay pot. And he was chasing me around, and somehow he ate shit. Just tumbled down
Oh, God.
the driveway head first into the pot. It
remember
breaks. Then he
Wait,
starts
the pot breaks?
The pot
sma-
breaks.
I mean, my head, like a little bit of
splattered it.
comedy, like-
yeah, head first into the. And then
Palm
he.
tree falls.
I remember I was like, "Oh my God, is he all right?" And he turns around, he's like, "Help me!" He's bleeding
Just
from
all
his
his blood
forehead.
just starts-
That's so bad.
But he
coming
was
down.
He was like, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna kick your ass." And then 3 seconds later,
Yeah.
"I need your help."
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Remember when I used to sit on Matt? Remember? And Matt would be like, he'd rage. He'd be like, "I'm gonna kill you." And I was like, "Look, if I let you up, you're not gonna kill me, right? If I let you up, you're
And
not
then I'd
gonna
be
kill
like,
you."
fine.
Yeah.
And then I'd get up and
Yep.
I'd still try to kill
Oh,
you.
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
remember one time, this before you were born.
Ah, there's so much good stuff before Andy
Joe,
came along.
Joe was probably about, I don't know, maybe like 10, 11.
Okay.
And you were like 8 or 9, whatever. And,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, at the most, actually. And you were taunting him, you know.
Oh God.
And he says, "I'm gonna punch you, Joe."
Oh my God! I
And,
remember
yeah,
this.
yeah, sure you are. And he, boom, he punches, knocks Joe off of his feet, down on the floor.
Wait a minute.
And Joe's sitting there
Hold
like,
on.
I can't believe he just punched me. I can't believe he just did that.
He did that to me too. But I was like a little kid, and he sucker punched me and knocked me out.
Okay, that's
I was
another
like 7.
That's
You're
another
a real
very
jerk.
guilty story
You're a
that I had.
real jerk.
Okay,
And
so
wait, and he broke my nose with a frisbee.
okay, it's another
Oh
one
my
I have.
God, that's
Wait,
right.
this one was
Frisbee.
unwarranted. I was 80 to 100.
It was a
feet
really
away,
long-
and I just zinged it.
Same inclined
Same
driveway,
driveway.
and it was nighttime, and it was one of those. It was like a
This is
hard,
House of Horrors.
It was a hard plastic frisbee with a rubber. I don't know what it was.
Thin.
Yeah,
Like, almost like a blade.
blade.
In
and
the early '90s, they were trying
had
to
those-
redo the
I don't know
new
what it was,
Frisbee, so it was
but-
like this super thin.
Yeah.
But
Frisbee.
honestly, you were so far away. I didn't think it was even going to reach me, and you threw it, and it was so much time that I turned around to like check something, and when I turned back, it just hit me square.
Cracked his nose.
Fractured my nose. I still have the
remember
scar.
that. Dude,
So
you still have a
terrible.
scar, right?
That,
Yeah.
but honestly, that driveway, one of the most intense stories I remember was when Dad was up on a 50-foot ladder.
Oh my God.
On this
Oh my God.
huge
Oh my
carport
God.
inclined driveway, hanging a gigantic Christmas wreath.
Oh yeah. He didn't
was
want to do it, by the way.
4
He's
or
like,
5 the
"Why are
time.
we gonna
Yeah,
wreath this
we're not
big?"
talking about a normal wreath.
Yeah.
A gigantic.
Why can't we do a normal wreath?
Yeah, and somehow he slipped and fell. and
that's
I mean,
right.
when
Onto like a brick driveway.
concrete. I mean, and there was so much. You know, there's a lot of time when somebody's falling out of off of a ladder, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, they're falling. He's not going to be all right, and bounce. And he was fine.
No, I was like, Dad's dead.
Yeah, but no, you
Dad's
didn't.
not
You
coming up
walk. I
from
walked
this
away without a
I
scratch.
Just very lucky.
Yeah.
I landed the right way, I guess.
It was a hell of a fall.
I mean, I was sore, but nothing broken.
it was a Chevy Chase fall.
It
for
was.
sure.
It was Christmas vacation. It was for sure.
It was wild.
good, yeah.
You know,
Very
that
good.
brings up those memories. I mean, gotta
my
give mom
gosh.
and dad credit.
Wow.
Dad, especially for this stuff when it comes to
The boombox
going
outside
in,
playing Christmas
getting
music.
going to the garage, getting all that
my
stuff,
Getting all
out.
the decorations.
boombox outside,
Christmas lights. Oh
By the
my
way, Dad,
gosh.
now-
I made it
was-
a point to play Christmas music outside,
Yeah.
and I went. Dad set up the boombox.
Yeah, but
and
you
I
would
set up
always
the music.
cash out and go to sleep. It was always Dad and I who was
Yeah,
really putting
in
in the
Philadelphia.
work.
No, yeah,
I mean,
and Dad especially.
Yeah,
at the
Dad
end
was
of
always the
night.
last
Yeah.
one
Yeah, and
standing.
But now,
remember in Philly, Dad, we used to wrap those tree beds at our house in Philly. That was so
We
much
did it in
fun,
LA
dude.
too.
I
On
know
all
we
those
did.
LA
palm
did.
trees.
now
oh
it's
my
funny.
gosh.
I really respect it so much more because now I'm the guy that does it.
Yeah, I'm the guy
I'm
that
fixing
does
the
it.
thresholds,
Yeah.
repainting the doors. You know, that's me now.
Yeah,
I mean, in fact,
we're
I-
all doing things like that. I bang on the steering column
my
whenever I
gosh.
drive the car.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Every time I'm
Dad.
driving now,
On the trips back and forth to New York and driving to school every
were
day,
kids.
great song would come on. He'd be like, boom, and keep the rhythm while he's driving
did-
with his.
on the steering
Yes.
wheel.
Dude,
Yes.
also-
not on the steering
No,
wheel.
no, through it. On
Through
the,
it,
on the steering
But
column.
I was doing that the other day, and I was like, "Oh my,
my
gosh,
God,
I'm turning
I'm
into my
Column's
dad."
better sound.
Yes,
Better sound.
it's a much better sound. And
my-
if you flatten the fingers, you hit with this
You
part.
can get it. You can get a
Well,
tone.
a
did
nice,
you know
good tone.
he had a
Yeah.
power? Like it was pretty power. I remember
He
the
did.
sound of.
Remember he was going like,
let's
yeah,
not
we won't
even
do it here because we have
but-
microphones, but it was like a.
It was
Yeah,
a
it was a
good.
really-
Oh yeah, he would keep the beat.
Again, I think you guys are giving me a lot more.
No,
you
that's
know,
true.
These
Dad.
powerful
Credit
King
to-
Kong
It's true.
fingers.
Yeah.
Our father, let me tell you.
Remember now, you were younger, so things
Yeah.
were bigger.
That's true.
it's
But,
true.
but no, but
That's
it was
true.
pretty profound if we still
Yeah,
remember.
we
it.
still
It had an
remember.
impact.
Well,
Yeah.
You know,
It had a-
yeah.
it
Oh,
had
I
a
remember
big
that.
impact.
I remember the suits. I would always remember I Polaroided his suits.
right.
Because when Dad, he did a lot of good things. Style necessarily was not like his strong suit in terms of like, you know, he always dressed
you
fine.
were-
but
you were back then
What do you
always
mean?
doing the
so
dressing
Mom would
room?
do a lot of the shopping, and then I would do shopping when I became 18 and like, you know, 17. I bought, you know, all my own Christmas presents for you guys, and I love shopping. I still love shopping, and I would get all these cool outfits and everything. But I would give them to him in the outfits, and I'd be like, "Listen, don't fuck up these outfits." He's like, "What? I gotta put them away in my closet?" I was like, "Yes, you do, but we're gonna Polaroid them." And I took
What?
Polaroids.
Are you serious?
Yes, I did, and I did it for his work suits too. I put shirts with ties, took
What?
Polaroids, and and I put them underneath in his closet, and.
My second wife.
And he used them. And he used them. He wouldn't even come out in the morning. I'll never forget. He'd be like,
Oh,
Joe.
sorry, yeah.
He'd be like, Joe, what do you think? Way to go, Dad. That's the right time,
I did
buddy.
that because I knew you'd be happy.
I know. I
Nah.
didn't really give a shit, but it was for you, son.
No, I didn't
no,
say I
it's
didn't
true.
give a shit,
no,
but
but
I-
it's true.
I-
No, and I meant so much to me. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
yeah, buddy.
That's cool. I remember
Yeah,
you would
got it.
you'd always go out there with like a chamois and buff Dad's car to make
Oh,
sure it was
God.
looking good.
Do you know what I did to your car the one time? So my dad got a really nice car
The funny thing is, Dad doesn't remember, but Joe remembers.
Oh God, it was horrible.
He's damaged.
I remember this. So,
He's
so
carrying
my
this with him.
dad,
It's
so my
crazy
dad,
what he
my dad,
remembers.
you know, I'm a car freak. I absolutely love automobiles. I'm obsessed with
Oh,
cars.
you got to tell the valet story too. I'm
Well,
sorry.
all right, I'll tell
that's
you
a
quickly.
good one. That's a
Two
good
quick
one.
car stories. So
Okay.
he got this. Well, it's the same car, so it's perfect. So we always had Cadillacs growing up, right? Because Philadelphia tri-state area, like the Cadillac is the Cadillac. You don't mess around.
it's the
so my dad
car.
had a silver Coupe de Ville, silver on silver with a vinyl top. All right, it was an amazing car. It was a
didn't
1980.
even remember that.
And then 3 years later, he traded that car in and he got the Eldorado Coupe. Now, not the Baritz, because it had a lot of chrome on it. He didn't like that. He didn't like the vinyl top. So he ordered one without the vinyl top. Because the vinyl top was cheese, but it was a little fad. So this was white over tan, had the wire wheels, though. Two-door Eldorado.
You just went through
Sick.
two cars though, without actually
Hold on,
getting
wait a minute.
any
I know
sort
because
of story.
I'm digressing back into the Cadillacs.
Yeah. And then
because I
before
love
that,
them.
he had this and a Pinto, and then before that, he had
and
a
Mom had a Cimarron, which was the baby Cadillac. Yeah.
Does this
built
have
off-
anything to do
No,
with
it
the
doesn't. I'm
story?
just thinking about these cars. I love these cars. Anyway, so then we upgraded in '86.
Oh my God, another car?
He abandoned the Cadillacs. He had been Cadillacs for a long time. Pontiacs, a lot of GM stuff. He had a Pontiac Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Then you have a burgundy one, and you had an electric blue
I
one.
actually like that better than the Cadillac.
Cadillacs. You did, right? You had a burgundy one that you brought me home in, right?
Yeah.
And then when was the electric blue one with the white velour top and the white interior?
That was after the
Okay, but the burgundy one was first.
Yeah.
2 Grand Prix coupes. These things were like land yachts. They were the size of literal boats. 26 feet.
I'd be embarrassed to drive it today.
Oh my
Wow.
God! Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed to drive that? No, it was a beautiful car. Then we upgraded. And he's like, Joe, we're going German. I was like, what? We're getting in Mercedes, a 420 SEL.
Wow.
White with tan. Beautiful.
This is the fifth car you've mentioned.
Hold on.
Still no
Beautiful
story
car.
yet. But
This is it.
Yeah.
So I was obsessed.
Get
It
to
had
the
the
story.
windshield wipers on the front lights. I mean, it was amazing. We were driving to school one day in that car. Rude Boys was on, written all over your face, because I played that every morning. And somebody ran a red light. And my dad had started to go through the intersection. Somebody ran a red light. The music was blasting. And at full speed, he took off. Somebody ran. And Dad, I don't know how he did it. He went, right back. I don't know how. We went through it. He somehow avoided the intersection. And I was like, and he turned to me, he was like, literally, didn't break a sweat. He was like, we did that because we're in a Mercedes.
Mercedes.
I swear to
See
God.
that, son?
I said, God,
That's German automotive.
that's what he
right
just
there.
said. I'll never forget it. I was like, oh my God. So that was that. So not to mention, I polished these cars because I was obsessed.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting back to it.
I
I
cleaned the
remember looking out
cars.
the window going, why the heck is he
Oh,
out
because
there polishing
just like
a
you would
vehicle
build your
that's
swamps.
going to go get dirty in
just
2
like
seconds.
you would build your swamps with frogs and shit, and I had to do that with you. I go outside with my bucket, my rag, and my chamois, and I'd make the car perfect because I didn't like it when there was road dirt and it was two-tone. Back in the 80s, they had this gray molding underneath it, right?
Let's
So
not
I
get too
said,
specific with the car.
Yeah.
so I said,
And embroidered head
no.
seats. And
so
stitching was
Dad
re-
had driven over some fresh asphalt, and I was so mad at him. I was like, "Why did you do this?" And it got tar all over. He said, "They repaved the parking lot of my work. I didn't know." I was like, "You destroyed."
How do you remember all this?
I can't get this
Terrible.
off.
I do
Joe,
remember this now.
Joe, don't
You're
worry about
saying
it. I said, he said, I can't get this off. Soap and water's not doing. He's like, "Don't worry about it. It's fine." So I was like, he went inside. I was like, "It's not fine." So I went into the laundry room,
Oh,
it's right
no.
off the garage.
Oh, no.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was 11.
Oh, no.
All right, and I found this thing that said, "Guaranteed to get off everything," basically. And it was soft scrub. Now, here it is. Wait.
Bleach.
Had bleach. in it.
Bleach.
These soft scrubs.
So sure enough, I put a little on the rag and I dip it in the water. I'm like, smells interesting. So I'm taking it on this, and the rubber at the bottom, it was the
Yes.
molding was painted. gray.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
And I start scrubbing. I'm like, they're coming off.
And so is the
wait,
paint.
And I swear to God, I get about 8 inches into the thing, and I look back and I'm like, why is that white? Oh my God, I bleached the shit out of. Remember, I was so upset. I was crying. I was like, I ruined your car. I ruined my dad. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll get it fixed. No, it'll never be the same. Wait, I swear to God, it'll never be the same. I'll never forget it. I wanted him to trade it in. Like, can we start over? Wait, and in '88, I swear to God, like 3 months later, this was like about a year and a half into the car. In '88,
It's so Joe.
they did a mid-cycle refresh, and they changed the inside door panels. Instead of a straight leather panel, it was perforated, and I loved it. And I wanted him to upgrade it, and I tried to use the excuse that the car will never be the same to get him to upgrade. I was sending you pictures of pewter ones with burgundy interior. I said, let's go for something different. Let's not do white. Joe, relax. This one's fine. We're going to be fine with this one. It'll never be fine again. I swear to God, these are stories that are
What
ingrained
about
in
the
my head.
valet one?
Oh, the valet one was when we were in New York. We drove it to New York, and I didn't want to drive that car to New York. I wanted to drive the minivan. And Dad was like, look, this is a safe car. We're going to drive it. It's going to be great. We're going to park it at the Hilton in New York. Where we go, Hurlingham's, for our Caesar salad after the auditions. They got valet there. I was like, please don't valet it. I mean, I knew. I had a feeling it was 87. I was like, please, Joe.
You probably
it's gonna be
just
great.
seen Ferris Bueller.
I had.
And saw the valet guys
Yeah.
take the car for a
Yeah.
joyride.
What kind of country you think this is?
Yeah.
There's a point to this story. though.
Anyway,
I
there
want
is.
just let
There
you
is.
know,
Not just the one on
make
the
it
top of my
known.
head. Anyway, so we after all the auditions, the
front grill
our
of the
reward
car.
was that
That's
our
the point.
parents took us to Hurlingham's restaurant for tableside Caesar salad, which was the best we've
That
ever
was the
had.
treat.
Right, Dad? I mean, it was
Yeah,
amazing.
great Caesar salad.
Okay, so really, we get out of the car and I'm like, Dad, can we just park it yourself? Joe. This is what this man does. This is all he does is park cars. He knows how to park cars. Look at them. There's Rolls Royces. There's Maseratis. It's so great. And we get out and the guy's like, and I'm like, well, you just tell him to put it in a good spot. He goes, all right, hey, can you put it in a good spot? He goes, of course, sir. We're going to put it right here. It was next to the Rolls Royce. And I'll never forget Dad going, we're good. So we walk in, have dinner, we come out. Sure enough, the Mercedes is right there next to the Rolls. Right there. It's beautiful. Okay? It's 2 feet from where we are. I literally, and you know I said this. What did I say? Can you just get the keys?
Dad, don't let him get the car.
Right. Can you?
We got to get the car. You
Right.
get the car.
Can you just
Come
get
on.
the keys?
Now,
He's like, Joe, I'm
I will
not
say
gonna.
the guy did look a little like maybe he didn't belong there.
He didn't look like he cared, is what he looked like. He didn't look like he was invested.
But I didn't want you
Yeah.
to. I wanted you to, be gracious with all people from all walks of life.
Right.
Yeah.
So he said, son, that's his job. It's going to be great. He's a professional. He's got to pull it 2 feet to us. No problems. Relax. I'm like, I just want to get in and drive it ourselves. He's like, we're good. So he gets in, starts up the car. The Rolls Royce is sitting right here. He literally has 2 feet to go. He cranks the steering wheel and literally shoves the car into the Rolls Royce and looks. I mean, Dad, what happened? Right? I was like, oh my God.
You said to me, "I told you not to let him drive it, Dad."
Yeah. Yes.
And I was speechless.
And
I
then
didn't know what to
proceeded to
say.
back it up. Proceeded to back it in.
Yeah.
And Dad went from, Joe, we're good, to, what the hell?
Amazing.
Yes. Great stuff.
Amazing, yeah.
Great stuff. Yes.
Good
All right,
stuff.
that was
Amazing
a
times.
long road to that
no,
story.
I'm sorry.
A
Yeah.
little long story there.
Oh, I'm sorry I was boring you, Andy. I'm sorry. Before you
I'm
popped
sorry,
up,
I
ruined
fell asleep.
everything.
What are we talking
Yeah,
about?
I'm sorry, yeah.
I'm back.
Well, it wasn't
Andy's
your,
back.
oh, yeah,
I was just
yeah.
taking a little snooze.
Take it away,
Well,
Andy.
it wasn't your Frisbee story. Sorry about that.
Oh, actually, I got something to ask you.
Power
before,
nap.
because we're
Oh,
getting
yeah.
long in the tooth here. I
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to ask you, as we're having this crazy financial kind of overhaul in the U.S. right now, we're having trouble with the dollar. Nobody knows what's safe. They don't know if they keep their money in the bank. I'm getting somewhere. I've been for the
Hopefully
first time
faster
ever,
than Joe did.
I've always known
I
that my
hate you.
dad. So my dad sells insurance, right?
Well,
life insurance.
Now,
Policy.
What do you do?
Now
exactly?
we do. I'm a retirement designer. We
reti-
basically
okay.
take people who are planning for retirement or in retirement and analyze their income, their expenses.
Okay.
We factor in taxes and inflation, and we show them mathematically, no bias,
How they can-
mathematically, if they're going to run out of money at some point,
Wow.
and if they are, what they can do to fix it.
Cool. Well, I would
Standard and
lately-
First. Go check them out. They're fantastic.
Yeah, no, seriously. But lately, and the reason this is why I'm asking this question is because lately, all I've been seeing on social media as a hedge against, or just a safe bet against everything that's going on. I mean, stocks, even gold,
Yeah.
even real estate, especially commercial
Yeah.
real estate with all the loans.
Yep.
Not safe anymore.
Nope.
Banks over 250,000.
Not
safe.
safe.
anymore.
Nope.
So, I've been seeing a lot of guys saying
Diamonds?
life insurance policy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. We were talking
It's
about
not
this.
about people think it's for when you die.
No.
It's not.
No.
It's for when you're alive, because what you can do is, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is what they're all saying is you buy a life insurance policy, you can borrow money and spend that, but it doesn't affect the overall principle of the policy, which still makes money. You're literally almost double borrowing off of something that's not even your money.
Yeah, there's a specific type of
Right, there's a
way to
specific one.
get the money out.
Right.
Doing that, yeah.
So I
exactly.
wanted to ask you about that today because honestly, there are so many guys talking about this on social media right now, and they're all getting popular.
Well, if you want
because
to know
people are
about it,
taking their advice.
If you want to know about it, you have to go talk to Dad.
Yes.
He's want to divulge all of his.
It's a very
You don't have you keep your plan to yourself here.
Yeah, it's
multifaceted.
multifaceted solution to a lot of different retirement needs.
Nice.
It'll address premature death. It'll address long-term care. It'll handle inflation. It will handle taxes As we all know, taxes are going up.
Yeah.
Right.
It also comes with a guarantee that you won't lose any money, even though you're participating in the stock market returns.
Right.
So there's lots of advantages to it that provide security to people that are planning for retirement or in retirement.
Anyway, Standard and First. He's
Bingo.
actually really gifted in this area and really great at it.
Check
So,
it out, guys. I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about how if you want to be safe with your money, life insurance policy,
There it
this
is.
particular one. So go check it out.
And I have one last question for you, Dad. Is that we've all talked about music a lot because music is such a part of our lives. And I know we had talked earlier about you being in a band and you singing and music just being threaded through every moment in our lives was music. I mean, even when you go to Hawaii every year, we always would have the mixes and the
Mixtapes.
soundtracks.
We drive across Maui from Lahaina
Yeah.
to the Wailea or whatever. Back
We'd
and
always
forth
have the
and we'd
mixes.
listen.
Remember, we
Any
built,
road trip, any
so
road
great,
trip. Still to
and it
this
was so
day,
eclectic. We listened to everything from like Temptations and
Frankie Valli
yes.
to-
Frankie Valli, Dad.
Stevie Winwood
Yes.
to Billy Joel
Yep.
to
all the way up to
Aerosmith
Dave Matthews and Tony Braxton and
sorts.
Babyface and all that stuff.
yeah.
all
You
that great
remember
stuff.
that?
I do, dude.
Oh.
Yeah. Chicka-chicka-doo. Remember the Boomerang soundtrack?
yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh.
much.
So growing up, like, what were your musical inspirations? Like, because you exposed us to a lot of soulful music growing up. It was mostly soul music, actually, is what we grew up listening to, which is why when I made my first record, it was very urban pop. It was not just pure pop.
We didn't fall into kind of the rock
No,
thing. We fell
no, it was
way
much more
to,
soul R&B,
yeah.
much more. So, what were your musical influences growing up, in like South Philly?
Yeah, that genre, of course.
Right, because Motown was big, right?
Yeah, Motown was big.
Yeah.
It was everything, and it was like when the Beatles came from Britain.
Right.
Motown was like that
Yeah.
prior to the Beatles.
Right.
But there were other groups as well that were very soulful. There were Hall & Oates.
Oh yeah,
Frankie Valli was they had
Oh.
some good stuff.
Yeah, man.
they did.
Even the Beach Boys. Some of their songs like "In My Room" and
Oh,
stuff
my
like that
gosh.
was just such
know.
warm. Made you feel like, wow, how do you write things like that?
I know.
It's just
About
amazing.
the Bee Gees.
And
Bee
Gees.
Gees.
It's another one.
Oh my gosh.
Tremendous group.
Yeah, dude.
I love them just because the brothers.
But
So-
there were lots of, Motown was a super huge influence.
Yeah.
But then there were other R&B groups outside of Motown, like Little
Yeah.
Anthony and the Imperials and another great.
Little Anthony Imperials. What was one of their hits?
Tears on My Pillow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't. How's it go? You don't remember me.
You don't remember me, but I remember you.
Was
Not so long ago,
you broke my heart in two. Tears on my pillow. Pain in my heart caused by you. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
dude, that's a great record.
That's a good one.
dude. I remember you playing "When the Night."
Oh yeah.
Let's go. And the land is dark, right?
Yeah.
And the moon is the only light you'll see.
No, I won't
No, I won't.
be afraid.
No, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me.
Anyway.
Darling,
Stand by me. Oh,
stand by me.
We're gonna wrap out on
Won't
this.
you stand? Won't you stand by me? Yeah. Whenever you're in trouble.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you so much for joining us today. We love you guys so much. We'll see you next time on the Brotherly Love Pod. Thanks to
as
Dad for
you
being
stand
here, everybody. We are so blessed. God bless y'all. Hug your parents if you got them. They're the best thing
Love
ever.
you
Love you
guys.
so much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Hey guys, the Lawrence Brothers here to thank you for tuning in and watching this episode of the Brotherly Love Podcast.
That's right. And to watch clips from this pod, go to the Podco YouTube channel at the link in the description.
And for exclusive weekly bonus content, join our Patreon now. The link is also in the description.
And we will see you guys next week.
Next week.
Next week.